Okay, so Andrea, this is live, although I don't know if it's in the same location. Does that make sense?
You're not live for me yet.
Okay, so maybe because I had to do this on my phone.
We've done it on your computer before.
I know, but I don't remember how I did it because it's not letting me do it this time. Hey everybody. So it looks like there's 10 people here, although I don't know. Yay! Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that.
I still don't see you. I'm in the chat. We're having fun chatting.
I know, I think you need to just tell them to leave and then go to the new live channel. Hey, Brandy.
Leave and go to...
Give me just a second, guys. I'm just trying to, I need to be able to see everybody chatting here, so.
Page.
Yeah, like people are on, I just can't, I don't see, I don't see my own live stream in order to be able to follow all you guys in the chat and everything. So
I know it's still waiting. But you have 33 people here.
well, I have 24 in the other one. Yeah, they said it's like a new session, so like you have to, I think you have to leave and then go to YouTube. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, sorry guys, this whole new live thing is new to me, so.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it because I want to be able to keep up with the live chat.
Yeah, they had everyone chatting in the old page.
Left?
Well, they're not here, except Overflow.
Oh, tell Overflow. But I can't even find my own live. That's the crazy thing. I like how everybody is, where? Wizard Unite. There. This is what I was looking for. All right. Cool. So now I can see the live chat. Cool.
Let's get to the gossip.
There is no gossip. Don't listen to Andrea. She doesn't know. Okay, so you guys can hear me? Everything is good on this end?
Yes.
Well, I know you can hear me. Oh yeah, Andrea's here. You can hear though?
I don't know. I have it turned down so it doesn't screw you up with the delay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
My phone can hear you. I'm just turning it down for you.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. So I will make sure you go, first and foremost, make sure you go to yesterday's video. I'm giving away a copy of this book. It's really easy to sign up. There's like 4 different ways you can enter. So this is the official game guide. It's not groundbreaking information by any means, but it's got some really good information if you are interested in like the professions. I will go over some of the stuff in a video, but it breaks down a lot about the professions. The skill trees is really nice. And then there are some new pages in here that we don't have in the game, so keep that in mind. Also, there's a lot of breakdown about the mystery, the calamity. So that's probably the most beneficial part of this, and it's free. So will I autograph the book for the winner? No.
I might lower the value.
So anyways, guys, let's talk about FanFest because first and foremost, I don't know if I have to say this, but I was sponsored for FanFest, but the review that I'm going to give here is mine and mine alone. It's yes, you know what? Let me do.
Moderate your comments.
Yeah, and let me give. Did I just give you moderation? Here, I'll give Andrea. I'll add you as a moderator as well.
I'll just tell you if people have questions.
Well, I just added you as a moderator. So, yeah, so the opinions are my own. And so I will tell you what was good. I will tell you what was bad. basically across the board, the whole event, without getting into any details, got an A. Like it was fabulous. It was great. It was a wide open space. It was decorated appropriately. The spawns were amazing. The communication was really well done. So just a general across the board. If you just want to know how good was it, it was definitely an A. It was thumbs up. And the thing that really drives that home for me is the fact that I did not hear one single person comment a negative thing the entire time I was there. So just across the board, I'm going to break that down a little bit into individual areas and things that could be improved and things that really stood out. But just in general, it was a great time to be had by all. And I think everybody that walked away feeling like they'd gotten their money's worth, or that this was the event that people wanted to have. Wait, what? Who? Why is Andrea chatting with the fan?
Because they love me.
Do you guys want Andrea to come into this? If we're gonna turn on the air conditioning because it's already hot over here, but
No, I don't. I'm wearing not appropriate public clothes.
yeah, people want to know what happened to your channel. Well, we don't know what happened to her channel, so but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. I'll let her talk about it.
If you hear, nobody else wants to listen to that.
So first of all, let's see. We'll talk about the merch. So I got there probably, I don't know. I think we got there 30 minutes before the event started after the delay. And the communication was good if you were on social media that there was a delay. But on my phone, there was an alert that popped up. And I have no idea what it was. And I swiped it away, and there was no way for me to get it back. So that would be something I think they need to implement. And I think this just needs to be game-wide. You know, if you go to your game and you look in the little event tab that's there, I think they need to add some kind of a news function on there. Because, like I said, the pop-up alert that came in, I didn't see what it said. And until I went downstairs and saw Expecto Go and Sue, I didn't know that the event had even been delayed. So some kind of communication is better. Now, once I went on social media, the communication was really good. They were very prompt and on top of things.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
They were very prompt and on top of things as far as giving timely updates. So that was good. But as far as in game, like if you were driving in and you did not know that it had been delayed, you would not have known. And they were telling people not to go to the... They were telling people to not go. Yeah, look, they're saying quiet on the set. Nobody wants to hear you blowing your nose over there.
Fine.
So the communication was great on social media. The communication in game wasn't great. And I feel like just in general, I think that's something that the game could improve on. I know a lot of people were confused about the global challenge, and some kind of in-game notes would have been nice from feedback that I've gotten. The merch line, I got there 30 minutes before this thing started. The merch line we were already told was 2 hours, 3 hours long. Now, that is a long, long time when you're talking about an event that lasts this amount of period. I don't know how people waited in a line that long, and I don't know what the answer to that is. So I never even went over to the merch tent because I wasn't going to spend the time that it would take to waste because the spawns were so good. I wasn't going to waste my time in line to buy merch. The merch looked really good online, the photos of it. I was like, yeah, that looks cool. I spent no time over there. And so I don't know if the answer is having multiple merch tents throughout the park. It was definitely large enough for that. But yeah, so I would say the merch probably gets a solid D from me just because the time it would take to get through the line really limited your experience at FanFest. Then they had several tents throughout, like greenhouses or the just tent, I don't even know how else to say it, where they were doing trivia and they had resting stations and they had charging stations. I did not use any of this. I've heard great things about the trivia giveaways. I've heard not so great things about the charging stations, as if there just weren't enough of them. So I can't really comment on that. I think it's great that they had places that you could go retire to and rest and relax. That was great. Personal experience, I don't know. I did not partake of any of that. To me, the time flew by so fast. There were people to see, spawns to catch, and the way that the quest was set up is you had to go to this side of the park, and then you had to go to this side of the park, and then you had to go to this side of the park, and then you had to go back over here, and then back over here. And I just never felt like I was in a position where I had time to rest. But the fact that they had them there, I give a thumbs up. I know a lot of people enjoyed just having a place to retire, to sit down and take a load off of your feet. So, you know, I really can't even grade something I didn't do or experience, but the fact that it was readily available, you know, an A, you know. I think they had portable chargers that you could buy or rent, and I think those all got picked up pretty quickly. I know some people were a little upset about that. So, take that for what it's worth. You were supposed to meet up at 8:30 for merch. We were in and out in 20 minutes. Well, see, there you go. See? According to Cooper's. Expecto Go and I, when we walked up, the line was 200, 300 people deep. So keep that in mind. As far as the tasks, so we had these little quests, and it was do 4 things, and then that unlocked the dragons. And I don't know that anybody actually knew that that was the case. And I guess maybe they did, and maybe it was just this whole like, oh my gosh, we are here, this is going on. And James and I were just at the clock tower, and everything was crazy. But it took me a good hour and a half before I realized, I was like, wow, people are seeing dragons, and I'm not seeing any dragons. Why? And then Alan, who I was with, is like, I think you have to complete the first page of quests. So I completely missed out on that. That's a my bad. And then people were seeing the next set of dragons, and I didn't realize I had to clear out the second page of tasks in order to do that. So again, that is on me not knowing what it was that I was supposed to be doing. So I can't fault them. And then actually, the quests themselves I thought were really well done. It was not really set up for most people to complete instantaneously. Like these were, you had to go here and then here and then here and do several things and interact. And so they really set it up so you had to experience the whole thing, which nothing short of what I would have expected, considering that's kind of how they made their game as well, as far as you have to do all areas of the game. The decorations were fabulous. I never felt like I was in the wizarding world because I knew I was, I mean, there's a massive 34-story JW Marriott hotel in the backdrop. So I never thought I was in the wizarding world. At the same time, the immersion experience I thought was really great. So thank you, James. I appreciate it. I think it's because James and I from Expecto Go, we both, we were both just in awe over everything. So I think we missed out on a lot of that. I feel like the quest was there for everybody to see. We just missed it from the excitement. So yeah, maybe those red dots that everybody hates, maybe those could have been better. But the quests themselves, once I figured out what I was doing, the quests were thumbs up. They were great. I love the way they didn't make it so that you could just camp in one spot. You had to constantly be vigilant and working towards something that could take you all day. If you really hustled, I think some people could knock it out in like an hour. But yeah, so it was, the quests were really good. And I feel like, and I'm not gonna be able to do a video on this, but I feel like for Day of the Dragons, I feel like there's going to be a mini quest as well. So keep that in mind. And I don't have any information. I promise you, this is pure speculation. But the fact that people at FanFest were going to be able to go through this quest and have Rita Skeeter and Charlie Weasley added into their game, even as just pop-ups. I think they're going to try to recreate that same type of experience for Day of the Dragons. But if I'm wrong, don't flame me for that. Andrea wants to know about spell energy sources. There were inns everywhere. At no point, I think at no point was I ever under full energy, because the quests gave you energy and a lot of it. And so I was constantly, I have 95 storage. Each inn was giving out 10. I want to say that the lowest I ever was 75 spell energy. So, and the inns, there were a bunch of them, and they all had 3 dark detectors. And it really, and I even said this to James, I said, this is how the developers envisioned this game. Because you know all those, the Boggart cabinets, you know the Gryffindor students, the flying memos, the flock of interdepartmental memos, the things that are not high threat levels that you just never see, they spawned with complete regularity, the same as any other Gryffindor student, because of dark detectors. And that's really how I think the developers envisioned this game, and that's why they made some of the spawn rates a lot lower, is because they envisioned people using dark detectors and being out in groups and playing together, where I can put a dark detector down, Andrea can put a dark detector down, James can put a dark detector down. We have 3, it only costs us 1 each, but then we're going to see those higher threat levels, those rarer foundables. And unfortunately, that's just not everybody's experience. I can tell you the game I played on Saturday is not the game that I play on the reg. And I live in a pretty big area for geolocation games. It was completely different. None of the medium and low threat levels felt rare. They all felt like they were spawning at the same rate. So if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. If you weren't there, just imagine not having to worry about any spawn not spawning. With the dark detectors came the increased threat levels. Obviously, they had the threat clock in the middle. And what it did that I think they could have utilized better was the clock would actually move. The hands on it would move. And if it were green, more of the lower threat levels would be spawning. And then when this thing hit red, there were emergency spawns everywhere. But if you were not in that one central spot, which was pretty much in the middle of everything, you had no idea what the threat level was on the clock. There was nothing, there could have been things at the different areas of the park that had, just some kind of a sign that said what the threat level was. But I thought it was really cool, really well done. It just wasn't scaled massively across the entire park to let everybody know. And in fact, it was pretty much the end of the day before I truly figured out that the spawns were coordinating with the threat level on the clock. And it fluctuated all day. It was green, it had some lights at the bottom. If you watch any of these WooTubers, after I go back and I will do a description underneath this, and I will tag like Animagus, Cooper, Expecto Go, I see in here. If I'm missing any of you other WooTubers, let me know. And I'm not, Lynette, I see, Wizarding PhD. I'm not missing you on purpose. But watching their videos, when they see the threat level clock, you will see it had the dials, so you had that, but then it had lights underneath it, so you could also see what the threat level was. I thought that was a great tool for communication. It just didn't scale. So keep that in mind. If you were in different parts of the park, it didn't necessarily translate so you knew what was going on. Something that could have been done better. It was a great idea, just could have been done better. As far as just the people, it wasn't, the park was great because it was big enough that you never felt crowded. Honestly, I walked around and at no point did I ever feel like, oh, I'm starting to get a little antsy. There are too many people around. It was wide open. People were doing their own thing. It was open to the public even. Like, they didn't close it down, just you weren't going to see the spawns if you weren't part of the event. So yeah, I thought the location was great. I thought it was really centrally located, relatively speaking. Probably for the population of the US, it was pretty centrally located. It was a big city, but not so big that everything was super expensive, easy to get around, and honestly, there was no reason to ever leave the downtown area if you were traveling to this event. Let me jump over here. Total attendance, I want to say Diagon Alley is saying 18,000. I don't know. I never actually saw an official count. I thought I saw somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5,000 or 6,000 per day. And that felt good. Like that felt like a good amount for the park. One complaint that I have heard a lot of people talk about is that the people who were there, portmanteaus were not spawning in the park. And that's true. And that doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form because, and in fact, I'm glad it wasn't, because the eggs that you would have gotten out of the portmanteaus were just laying on the ground. You just tap to pick them up. I like that a lot better than walking a portmanteau, stopping what I'm doing, looking through the forbidden forest, and then collecting Raxparts. I actually like the fact that I could just pick up the egg and move on. And I will say, the best thing that they did about all of this, the event was completely free. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you spent money on travel. Yeah, you probably spent money on a hotel. And yeah, you spent money to get into the park. But I feel like they took that all into consideration because I didn't need any keys. I needed none. I wasn't walking off any port keys other than what I already had, and I just used a gold key for those. I didn't use really any spell energy. I mean, I used a handful of spell energies on some emergencies. I'm like, I really want to make sure I need this. But it wasn't long before people noticed, wow, we're having a 99% success rate on casting spells here. And yeah, so potions, I'm sorry. So potions, it was nice to not have to worry about that. And I think in my mind, the developers said, people have already spent money to get here. Let's not make them spend money in game to enjoy the experience. And so a major, major A+ on that. I personally had potions brewed, and I even said in my videos leading up to this that right before I was like, there's no way, I don't have enough potions for 10 hours of this because community day sucked, and that was 3 hours, and it sucked all of my potions down. I know James at Expecto Go brewed a ton of potions for this. And then when we got there, we're like, oh wait, we're not going to have to use our potions. That was great to me because now I have all these potions for Day of the Dragon to take advantage of the events that are going on. Yeah, see, Lynette, same thing. Wizards PhD, same thing. People were casting potions and being like, wait, I didn't even need a potion. So that was great. You didn't need keys to unlock port keys. You didn't have to buy any, like there were no special packs for sale like you see in Pokemon Go. You didn't have to buy any of those to enhance your experience. I thought it was great. I have to stop and take a drink of coffee because my throat is, I'm going to read your comments and let's see what we have here. Started, yeah, potions. You cleared out, Liz Trick, cleared out all of your port keys. Oh, yeah, that is a good complaint there. People who cleared out all their port keys ready for these new ones had none that were going for the event, so that would make sense. Yeah, the coolest dragon, the Chinese fireball. So we'll talk about the global challenge here in just a second, but everybody basically is getting the Chinese fireball, and it is the best looking dragon by far. The opal eye is a very close second, just because it's like an opal. If you like that color, that what is it that opal is?
Opal. It's a color.
Opal's a color, but the way it changes in the light, it looks really cool. But the Chinese fireball dragon, you guys are not going to be disappointed with this. They are super easy to take out, though. I think Jibs, who is Jimmy there, I think he did a write-up about the different dragons. No matter what level you are, they're probably on par with the vampires. However long or hard it is for you to knock out a vampire, that's what you can expect out of dragons. As far as the global challenge, I'm going to take ownership and say that as someone who was on a conference call with the developers, with Warner Brother before the event, I failed you guys because people did not understand that it was two different things, that the XP was separate from the dragon eggs that you pick up the most of for your region. And that was a failure on my part as far as relaying that message. So you knew that you could still get the XP, but you could still have a different dragon. And, some people are excited about it, and people have different motives, and they don't care about prestiging up pages, and that's fine. Everybody's free to play the game how they want. I think it would have been better if in the Americas, Greenland, Asia, and England, we were able to prestige up those dragon pages. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to. Off of the conference call, if I remember correctly, they said those special portmanteaus are not coming back anytime soon. Like, there are no plans for those to make another appearance. So you had kind of one shot at that for now. And so for the collection people, it's going to bother them. I imagine at some point in time, there will be a way to get to everything in this game. And so keep that in mind as well, that it may be a while, but at some point they will have a way where an event happens or dragons migrate or something happens. But I can't imagine they're going to have people just leaving these pages empty in their registries forever. Let me jump and look at some of these questions. Yeah, North America does get that is a good point. The North America does get the 2 emergencies, which are going to be better XP. Make sure you're running your Brufio's Brain Elixirs for those, and it's easy XP. Let's see, did Fortress levels? Yeah, we would prestige the page. All getting hyped about something. Why is it Wai Ming? I hope I'm saying that properly. James at Expecto Go and I, we are working on something. I'll tease a little bit. No, I haven't given any of the information out. You didn't miss anything. It has to do with spawn patterns, and it has to do with oddities. So there. But it requires research. It's not something that I can just say, hey, look in this specific location for this oddity, because the developers didn't tell us that. They told us how to find the answers, not where to find the answers. And so it's requiring a lot more research, because they didn't say like, well, go read Cursed Child and then you'll have your answer. I wish it were that simple, but it wasn't. And honestly, and I need to talk to James at Expecto Go on this, but it may be something where we give you the gist of the details and then put it out to the community to help us figure a couple of things out. So there's Mike at A Wizard's Guide. If you guys, I will put his in the description below as well, but go check out The Wizard's Guide. His wife did a video about FanFest that wasn't about FanFest. It was individually, it was the collective FanFest. Really well done. And it'll hit you in the feels. So just be prepared for that, but go check it out. And honestly, go check out all of the content creators. I've named some of them. I see A Wizard's Guide Mike is here that has joined in. But I can tell you, being a YouTuber is a lonely thing. It is Animagus. I see his name pop up there. It is doing research mostly by yourself. It is scouting locations to record. It's editing, it's recording. A lot of it is very much you are doing your own thing, and it's very lonely. And so to be around all these other people who I've known digitally for, I don't know, year and a half, a year, and meeting most of them for the first time, it really made doing YouTube videos not lonely, even if it was just for the weekend. And so, yeah, it was, I didn't even get to hang out with many of them because everybody was doing their own thing, creating their own content. But the time that I had, it was really nice to know, hey, these people get what I'm going through. And so that was super cool. One thing that I really failed on you guys about is capturing the feel of FanFest. And I realized it as soon as I started editing, that my B-roll was non-existent. There was so much to do and so much to see that I wanted to capture it all. And I will let you guys in on a little secret that probably for the first hour and a half to 2 hours of FanFest, I did not even take my equipment with me because I just wanted to experience FanFest as a fan. I didn't want to worry about, am I getting the shot? Am I getting this? And it was great. It was nice to just play the game. The thing that a lot of people don't know about creating content for a game is the game loses a lot of fun because it becomes work. If you go out and you say, you know what, I kind of want to go play some Wizards Unite, and I want to go to FanFest, and I want to hang out with friends and do all this. Like, you enjoy all that, right? But now take that and think, okay, now I have to constantly be vigilant about setting up shots and screen recordings, and is there copyrighted music around, and you know, what story am I telling for this video? And as soon as all this is done, a 10-hour day, a 12-hour day, now I've got to find the energy to go edit this video. It takes so much of the fun out of it. And all these people know, and they all get it. And we all put that aside and just had fun. So that was super nice. But I apologize because I don't feel like as a content creator, I captured the essence of FanFest. And so that was a fail on my part. The tents were amazing. They were so well done. The acromantula eggs up on the bridge, other people have in their videos. It was so well done. The clock looked great. There was a huge inflatable niffler that didn't even look like a niffler, but it was a niffler. But all that stuff, and I didn't capture any of that. The number of people who were celebrating after capturing their first Dumbledore, you know, all those moments that when you stop and just look around, you see and you experience, but you don't necessarily capture and then translate that into a video. And on my part, I failed as a content creator to bring that. And it's the biggest regret that I have when I got home and started editing through everything is, yeah, you guys got to see my experience, my gameplay, but you didn't get to see the feel. I don't think I conveyed just how much fun people were having playing this game. And so I apologize for that. And so that's something I have to work on as a creator to get better. Yeah, and going the second day would have been great. And just capturing B-roll, that would have been fabulous. And unfortunately, I was there. Warner Brothers was kind enough to take me there, and so when they said I had to leave, I had to leave. You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here, right? So, but yeah, that's I'm trying to think.
If you could change one thing about FanFest, what would it be by Doc?
Doc wants to know if one thing could have been changed about FanFest, what would it have been? Gosh, you know, as far as FanFest, the event itself, I wouldn't have changed anything. The handful of food places were meh at best. There were some food trucks offsite that you could go to. And I hear they had more reasonable prices and better food. But the event itself, just judging it for what it was, there's nothing I would change. It checked all of the boxes.
Yeah, food was disappointing.
Overflow said the food was disappointing. Yeah. They could have had butterbeer, and I'm sure there were reasons why they didn't have all that, because they thought of everything. So I don't know what the reasons behind all that were, but having more like bangers and mash, or having turkey dinners or something, you know, like you see in the game, those would have been kind of cool. Having a candy booth that was Honeydukes, something like that would have been cool. But they just had kind of generic stadium food, so keep that in mind. What other questions do you guys have?
That's, mostly they're just agreeing with you. They want, what's the painting I think he needs behind you?
Oh, this, I don't,
It's my grandmother's.
it's Andrea's grandmother's something. Moaning Myrtle, yeah, like if they could have had that coming out from underneath the bridge.
Favorite section of the park?
Favorite section of the park?
I expect to go.
Man, probably, God, it was so wide open. You know what, the bridge, I thought the bridge was great. Over by the zoo, I guess, if I had, there was an area that, so you cross over a bridge, and then you went up against the outer banks of the zoo. And I will say that those areas, kind of where the edge of the event was going on, were kind of, the only reason why people went over there is to pick up port keys, because you had to be outside the radius of the event in order to pick up port keys. So people went over there, and so that got kind of crowded. But I'd say that the bridge was pretty amazing. All of the little details that I wish I would have captured, but they had inside of trees, just randomly, they had flying keys. Never would have expected it, but it was there. Little things like that, just the little details. See, over by the zoo, Newton, Pickett, all day, yeah, definitely. And I saw those on the bridge, so got to head to a meeting. All right, Jimmy, thanks for stopping by.
Any word on the raid bosses?
Oh, yeah, so
The posters of great action?
I don't. You know, it's crazy. The book, I'm going to plug this again because I'm doing a giveaway. There's a link in yesterday's video if you want to enter, but there'll be a link in this after we're done here. But in the book, they talk about the adversary registry here. And I showed this in the video yesterday, but they have 4 different families, and there's like 10 extra. And I don't know, do you guys want spoilers? Because, like, I don't think Lucius Malfoy currently in the game, but he's here. And then, I'm gonna mess it up, but it looks like Barty Crouch. I don't think that's probably right, but, and then you have Slytherin's Balstic down here. So yeah, there's a whole lot. And then just all these. Like, I don't think anybody in this page except for the Acromantula is currently in the game. And then they're not even in the game, but those registries aren't even there. So anyways, I'm giving away a copy of this. So make sure you sign up for that. Crouch.
Not crotch.
I knew I was saying it wrong. See? Well,
I know what your mind is on.
well, I like, you know.
If you had to choose between Harry Potter Fan Fest or Pokemon Go Fest, which do you think is better?
Logan, I've never been to Go Fest, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Everyone's laughing at crotch.
You guys expect me to mispronounce things at this point.
Fire Nays? Can we go back to Fire Nays?
Yeah, Fire Nays. And then, yeah. What other questions do you guys have? Is there anything about what's coming up this weekend that you guys need some clarity on before the event actually happens? Playing as a content maker, do you feel like an event is hard to focus because folks... Steven, I'm not big time. I had a lot of people come up, and it was great. It was very surreal because I'm used to everybody coming up to Andrea and talking to her. So having people come up to me, I was like, wait, me? Like, why? But no, it added to the enjoyment because I could interact with people one thing that I tried to do in a video that I just deleted is, except for this live right here, this relationship right here is a one-way street. You guys watch me and I don't ever see you. And so being at FanFest and having people come up and say, hey, I love your videos, or I watch your videos, they suck, whatever. It was nice to put faces with that because, you know, like I said, it's very lonely. And so to know that what I'm doing, people are enjoying and using as entertainment or information is a good feeling. So no, it didn't bother me at all having people come up. It was kind of cool, and it was better to see their reaction to catching their first swooping evil that they had never seen before. So seeing that kind of stuff, or they got the dragons, the one dragon that they wanted, that was absolutely cool. And I'm glad that I got to experience that with them, because it's kind of like, I don't have children of my own, but it's kind of like what I imagine it would be when they open their Christmas gift and it's the gift they wanted, knowing that you were there to celebrate that with them is kind of the feeling I think that it was similar to. I went to Go Fest and the quest line was better the quest line was great. The quest line was definitely great, especially Rita Skeeter's little attitude there.
Will dark detectors work for dragons?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Do oddities, I feel like I should know this, but do oddities spawn off dark detectors currently? I feel like they don't. And if they don't currently spawn off dark detectors, I'm going to say no, that dragons will not spawn off of dark detectors.
Chris wants to know when I will do another episode of your
Oh,
YouTube.
Well, considering I have more subs on my YouTube channel than she does at the moment,
Hey now.
maybe she wants to have me on her channel to help get her some subs.
Me and my 69 subs right now.
How many people were there by themselves? Jennifer, you know, it's hard to tell because people were just walking around in masses. You had some cosplay people, which were really cool. You had, I'm sure there were people there by themselves. I was there by myself for half the event for sure. Not because people weren't around, but just because I had the story that I was trying to tell. And there were parts of the quest that I was on that required me to be in a different part of the park than other people. So I imagine, I would say 30% were probably there by themselves. I don't know. It wasn't your job to explain the global challenge. Yeah, insane. I kind of disagree with you there because the developers put out what the global challenge was, and then because they knew it was kind of wordy and kind of ambiguous, or they just wanted to make sure that their communication was coming across clearly, they called a group of us in to a conference call and said, what questions do you guys have? Now take this information and help us get it out. And so it sounds like you understood it clearly, but in reading Reddit and Discord and everything, the majority of people did not truly understand exactly what was going on. And so the fact that the content creators were supposed to be that clarification, that line of, if you don't understand, here is somebody else explaining it, and it still got jumbled, I take responsibility for that, as I did not do my job as a creator and informer of the game, passing the information along. So, what else?
Any ideas about how the dragon eggs will appear now? Sugar Ashley.
Sugar Ashley wants to know about the dragon eggs. Is the best I understand it, they're gone for the time being. So that's if any of the other WooTubers that are on this, Expecto Go, Animagus, I think. I can't remember who all was there. But if you guys are still on here, if you remember, I thought they said they were going to be gone. So after I got back home and then realized just how spoiled I got walking around. Yeah, that's the comment was we got spoiled at FanFest, and we totally did. And I even commented to somebody, I said, it's going to be hard going back and playing this game normally after you've seen how good it can be. And somebody, was it Overflow? Did a tweet where he was talking about, I'm walking around my city again and there's nobody playing and no dark detectors are going off. And it's totally a hangover. It's the FanFest hangover of this game could be amazing beyond, and then that's not the reality when you're not at an event. Let's see, James from Expecto Go says he took it from the meeting as well that eggs will not be spawning again anytime soon.
Rip.
So, yeah, and I think at some point they will come back. It'll probably be special events, but just on the reg, I think they're going to be gone. I do believe your regional dragon is going to stay after the 7th, and then you'll just have the one. So keep that. You missed the constant chicken dinners for sure. That was nice, spinning and always getting 10. When will you be able to give any information on future updates or changes? You know what, Doc? To tell you the truth, I do not get any advanced warning. I don't have a non-disclosure agreement with Warner Brother or Niantic as far as that goes. And so they don't give me a heads up on anything. I typically find out when you guys find out. And then often I find out via social media that there's been a game update. In short, if it wasn't for people like you, I never read any. Oh, well, thank you, Logan. I appreciate it. There's a lot of people doing this besides me that catch things that I miss, and people who know Harry Potter way better than me. So make sure you're showing them some love. And I know Logan shows, I've seen him comment, or her comment, in a bunch of different people's videos. So make sure you share the love. I expected the foundable levels going back to normal, but it was harder to get back to soloing fortresses. Fantasy Stats Guru has been with my channel since Pokemon Duel days, like 3 years ago. I got to meet him, and that was super cool because as far as I know, he's the oldest, not age-wise, but the longest subscriber still actively engaging in my content. So I just want to say thank you to Fantasy Stats Guru. It was great to meet you and put a face with you, and it was awesome. And I know you were doing, and like, so see, here's an example. He was there with his girlfriend, fiance, or wife, one of them, mistress, maybe, I don't know.
How many does he have?
He was there with a female. Maybe it was just a friend. I don't remember. But we hung out and talked for maybe 5 minutes, and then we had other things that we were trying to get accomplished during the day. And that's somebody that I would have loved to have talked to for an hour, 2 hours. And it was, okay, well, I'm on this part of the quest, so I got to go. And so that's just kind of how the whole event was. I was with James for the beginning, probably hour and a half, and then I rarely saw James after that. And Expecto Go he's one of my favorite people. And so I would have loved to have hung out with him and his wife, Sue. And, you know, it didn't happen. We were on different things. And then here's Cooper. And Cooper, when's your video coming out? Because I purposely didn't talk about what you did to me. But Cooper threw some shade at me, and it's great. And I want to watch it to see how she cuts this up. And yes, I know it was all in good fun. So plug whenever that video is going to come out, so that people can tune into that. Do you think Woo Fest and the coverage of it? Okay, so here is it. Terminetics tips. Terminetics tips. I got to meet him as well. A YouTuber that I did not know before this event, so it was great to meet him. And his question is, do you think the coverage of it will get more people to play the game? No. The problem is, for people who are already playing the game and the people that were there, this was an amazing event. I think it was everything that they could have asked for game-wise. The problem is, I don't necessarily think the experience is going to convert anybody over to the game, because the experience that we had and that everybody's going to show in their videos can't be replicated outside of that event. And so if somebody catches one of the videos from a content creator and is like, oh wow, like that looks like a lot of fun, they load up the game, they go to their local park, and there's nobody else playing, it's going to be hard. They're going to be like, oh, well, you know, the same hangover that people who went to FanFest are feeling, that's going to be people's only like experience with the game. And so, no, the game is going to need to gain players in order for it organically, in order for it to really start to flourish and grow. And I hate to say that, but I don't think FanFest is going to convert people who don't play into people who play. Is there someone we can contact to request more inns, greenhouses, fortresses? Janet, no. That's all built on Niantic's real world platform. And so those are all points of locations. You can do things through Ingress and have people like recommend or submit portals. But other than that, I don't think there's any other way to do it. And there's Fantasy Stats Guru saying Ingress players, so keep that in mind. Where is Pokemon? I don't know. He's in Vancouver, Canada, Andrea.
I know that.
Do you think 100% of the participants were players or just Harry Potter fans? No, Christian, your English is great. That's the hard thing with this game, is Pokemon Go is a franchise built around a game, so creating a new game about it is super easy. Harry Potter is a reading, it's not a game, it's a reading franchise and a movie franchise. And so necessarily the people who love Harry Potter aren't necessarily gamers. And so getting them to play a game, especially one that is intensive as going out and walking around and finding new places to play is it's a big ask. And so I think that's the growing pain that we're going through right now. Still haven't gotten to do a fortress with anyone. Yeah, so is that, I'm gonna say Kim, although I don't know if that's correct. The FanFest was not centered around fortresses in any way, shape, or form. I wanna say that there were 2 fortresses that were reachable from the FanFest grounds, and I didn't even notice or care. It was such that what we were looking for is Foundables, and I didn't want to spend my time that I could be finishing the Dragon Quest to do towers. Now, if they had made one of the challenges within the thing to battle towers with friends, that could have been something they could have added. That would have been nice, because it would have forced people to, hey, can I join in this tower with you? It made people come out of their shells and talk a little bit more, hopefully. So they could have done that differently, I think. But as it was, towers were not integral to the event in any way, shape, or form. They moved our library. Let's see. Do you think WB will advertise in movie theater like Pokemon Go did? They had their trailer in movies before the game came out, and the next movie isn't scheduled to come out until like 2020 or 2021 or something. So it'll be a hot minute. There you go. A Wizard's Guide. How many non-gamers were playing Wizards Night because they're Harry Potter fans? So, yeah, Animagus fortresses took a back seat for sure. I looked out, have a fortress that I can reach from my bedroom. Nice. Sugar Ashley is very lucky. There. Went into a fortress to teach my friend how to do them, and 3 random people jumped in. Just hop on in. At FanFest, that works. In day-to-day life, that probably isn't going to happen. I wonder if they're trying to get an actor from the movies to endorse the game. That might help. Maybe. That can be pretty expensive. I only use the tower battles as a chance to sit down for 20 minutes. Yeah, I think a lot of people did that. I did notice the lack of fortresses and the spawns were too good, so I was okay with it. Yeah, for sure. I've read the books multiple times. Yeah. Diagon Alley Cat. She says that the game does a good job of bringing it. All right, Expect to Go. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it.
You're at 1 hour.
I'm at an hour. Do you guys have any other questions before I wrap this up? The Wizards guy is going to head out. Like I said, in the description below, I will link up all these different WooTubers. Make sure you show them some love. What if they use Andrea to promote the game? They can't afford her. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
They could get my if they could get my YouTube page back up, I would
All right.
promote the game.
Probably Bramall, Diagon, Alley Cat. Anywhere at another FanFest location? No, I've not heard a word. Any news? Nope, no word on another one. I think it'll all come down to, I'm sure they'll have another one. It will probably be next year if they do. I think putting one together in 6 months would be a little too quick. Logan, have fun in class. All right. Y'all's never gather a game where I play because of Harry Potter. Cool. And there's a lot of people like you. Are you happy with Professor? Yes. I love my professor profession. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate it. They could create a new Foundable in honor of Andrea Kimmy Niffler.
That's funny.
She likes that. Will getting all the dragons in 3 hours be easy or hard? Well, considering there's only 2, I imagine it's going to be extremely easy. I think they're gonna have it very easily if you get out and spend any time. Like I said, at the beginning of the video, if you weren't here, I imagine there's gonna be some kind of a quest set up that you're gonna have to do a little bit of in order to kind of experience the FanFest. So that's my guess. I don't have any information officially that says they're gonna do that. That's